Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I am sitting here enjoying a snow day. It has been snowing for hours here. And as I've been sitting here, I've been thinking about all of the feelings that tend to come up during the holidays for a lot of people. You know, we're getting ready to close out the year. And with it, we want to make sure that we remember the blessings and the lessons that we learned from 2019. But it's so important that we release the stuff that isn't serving us. We don't want to go into 2020 with anything that's holding us back. And that can be a lot of things for different people. Sometimes people are held back by limiting beliefs. Sometimes people are held back by jobs they don't like. For some people, it's relationships they feel stuck or trapped in. And for some people, it's just a way of thinking and a way of doing things that they've always done. And you know, that whole saying is if you do things the way you've always done them, you're going to get the same results. So it's important to go into 2020 with a new mindset, with a new attitude, with a whole new plan for how you're going to conquer that year. Because I feel like 2020 for a lot of people is going to be an amazing year. We're ending a decade. And with it, when we end a decade, I think that there are 10, if you look at the angel number 10, it's a closing out of cycles. It's an ending of the patterns of behavior that no longer serve us. So for a lot of us, 2020 is going to be the start of a brand new cycle of things. And I don't know about you, but for me, I'm super excited about what 2020 holds because there are a lot of things I've been working on that I know are going to be manifesting in 2020. And I also know that there are a lot of things that I've been trying to shed and get rid of that I plan on leaving behind in 2019. So what I thought that I would talk to you about today is, what is it that you want to leave behind in 2019? What is it that you don't want to bring with you into the new year and into the new decade? It's a new start, and I love beginnings because even though they can be scary and you're kind of walking into the unknown, a new beginning is a chance for you to redefine who you are. And if there's anything about yourself or your life that you're not happy with, it's an opportunity for you to start over. It's an opportunity for you to reshape your life. And I love the fact that we have that opportunity. There are a lot of things in life where you can't exactly start over. You can't reshape what something is. It just is. But the fortunate thing about our human experience here on this earth is that we can, at any point in time, choose to completely overhaul our lives. I think that I've mentioned this before, but one of the things I used to absolutely love when I was a kid or a teenager was watching talk shows. I love to watch Oprah and Sally Jesse Raphael and Phil Donahue and all of those shows. And my favorite episodes were ones where they would do makeovers on people. You know, someone would write in and say, oh, my mom's had the same hairstyle for 50 years. You know, she'd have hair down to her ankles, you know, something incredibly long, took her a long time to grow. She's been wearing the same clothes for 50 years, you know, whatever. And then they would take this person behind the scenes. So for the whole shows, there would be this buildup of, oh, they're going to do this makeover, and they'd give you a teaser of them cutting the person's hair, and then they'd have dye on their hair. You'd see all of these things. And then at the very end, the person would come out and you didn't recognize the person, didn't even look like the same person. And for most of the pictures, the person looked like 20 to 30 years younger than they did in the before shot because they cut their hair and added hair color and whatever else. And I always love that because I thought, how incredible is it that you could go in looking one way and come out looking completely different? And we have the opportunity to do that every day with our, not just our physical appearance, but with our emotional self and with our spiritual self. We have the opportunity every day to come in as one person and to leave that day as someone totally different. For me, 2018 was the pivotal year. That was the year for me that I just had that moment of there has to be more out there than this. Why am I doing the same thing in, day out? This cannot be life. There has to be something more than just this. And I remember that's when I was trying to find ways to really learn more and to change and to grow and to evolve. And for me, it was a makeover of my spiritual life. Because up until then, I believed in God. I went to church. I gave back to the community. I did all of these things. And yet, I still didn't feel like it was enough. And it was never really completely satisfying or fulfilling to me. I still always felt like there was something more out there, that there was something missing. I was missing a piece of the puzzle. And I think that it was a huge piece of the puzzle I was missing. So when I started working on myself and I started a daily practice of waking up, doing affirmations, meditating, morning and evening I would meditate. And I started just doing a lot more research and going to spiritual teachers and doing coaching sessions with them and taking classes and like anything I could get my hands on, doing tapping. All of these things, I was like, I need more. I need to feed my soul even more. It was like I had a hunger. Like when you have a hunger in your stomach and you eat and it's like you don't get full. It's like it's not enough. I constantly felt like I needed more. And that's how this was for me on this spiritual journey. It was like I would do a meditation, I do a tapping, I do an affirmation, and I was like, this isn't enough. I need more. And that's kind of when I got into the whole, what is my purpose in life? Why am I here? And really started doing the podcast and started getting into my own business. It just grew for me more and more. And there were a lot of things that I've had to learn how to let go of, and a lot of things that I've had to learn to look forward to. So for me, 2018 and 2019 were all about major lessons. And I know that I'm closing out these cycles, For me, a big lesson was not doubting myself, not doubting my intuition, being true to who I am, and not changing that for anyone or anything. And in the past, that would have been a difficult thing for me because I would have listened to other people and whatever advice they would have given me, I would have said, okay, I'll do it. I don't really know I don't know what I should do. And now I know I have my own built-in GPS. My intuition tells me what to do. So I don't need to rely on what other people say. And it's been about learning how to support my business, learning how to continue doing the things that I want to do and seeing that expand and grow, but letting go of the things that don't serve me, like fear and doubt, and just trusting that the universe has a plan for my life and that I'm on the right track, and asking for signs and help and people to come into my life when I need it, and knowing that people always show up, the signs show up, I'm always given the answers, and I just need to listen to it. So my challenge to you as we're thinking about this year closing out would be to think about what it is you need to leave behind in 2019. Is it a job? Is it a person? Is it just a way of thinking? Maybe it's just that you have a negative mindset still. Maybe when things happen to you, you still let it get to you and you still get upset and react emotionally to it. Maybe it's all of those things. Maybe it's all of the above. I don't know. But what is it that you want to see stay behind in 2019? Because I really think that as we're leading up to, and I know the holiday seasons are busy, but you definitely need to take some time to yourself to think about what you want to leave behind. What chapters do you want to close for 2019? Because again, 10 signal cycles closing out. And you don't want to be repeating the same lessons and the same cycles in the next decade. So leave it behind you in 2019. And I'm a big fan too of doing little rituals, mostly because I just think that it's symbolic for me, not for anyone else. It's not like I think you have to do something or the universe doesn't recognize. No, it's not about that. For me, it's just symbolic for me. Like if there are things that I know I want to leave behind in 2019, I would write that down on a paper. And then I light a candle usually, and then I just bless the lessons and then release the rest of it into the universe. And I light the paper on fire. Again, it's not something you have to do. But for me, it's like a visual symbol of let it go. And I posted something not too long on Facebook, and someone said, they posted the Frozen meme with the song Let It Go, and it made me laugh because literally every time I think that I need to let go of something, that song pops into my head, and it just keeps going over and over and over of, let it go. And that's okay. I love that. And I love the movie anyway, and I love the song, but to me, that's like a symbolic thing, let it go. And then as usually happens with me, with synchronicities, then I'll see something pop up with Frozen and let it go. And I know that's the universe saying, we're really happy that you let that go. And, thank you for releasing the things that aren't serving you, because that's part of your journey. That's part of the process. It's part of your lesson. And I know that the universe always gives me confirmation of, yes, we're proud of you. Yes, you're on the right track. Yes, this is what you were supposed to do. So I love that. And I think equally important as letting things go that you don't want to take with you into 2019. And I mean, you can write things down like, I am not going to take this problem with weight into 2020, or I am not going to take self-doubt into 2020, or I'm not going to take this job that isn't serving me into 2020. Make it very specific about what it is you don't want to see going into the new year. You're leaving it in 2019. And on the same hand, what's equally important is, what do you want to see in 2020? I think that goal setting and vision boards and all of that are so important, because we sometimes walk around this earth not even knowing what we want. That was me whenever I went through this whole journey in 2018. I sat down and I remember thinking to myself, I don't even know what it is that I'm looking for in this world. I don't know what I want. I don't really know who I am. And I think that that was part of the process for me, was figuring out who it is I am. Because for the longest time, I've been a mom and a teacher, and I felt like that's all I was, And I feel like a lot of you might feel similarly. You spend all of your time being there for your children, doing things for them or for your job or whatever. And it's like we take on these roles that, I'm just a wife, or I'm just a mother, or I'm just a teacher, or I'm just a husband, or I'm just a dad. We take on all of these roles. And then we don't really know who we are. Because I don't know how your life evolved, but for me, I went from being right out of college and trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up, in a job I didn't really like, to then a mother, and then trying to figure out how I was going to make a living because I didn't like the job I had originally done. So I don't think for me, I ever really knew who I was. For a long time, I didn't know that. As weird as that may seem, I didn't know who I was beyond a mom, beyond someone's ex-wife, beyond a teacher, a sister. I didn't know who I really was, what I stood for, what I believed. And part of my journey was figuring that out. Figuring out, what do you want? Like, if you had your ideal life, what would it look like? Where would you be working? What kind of person would you be with? What do you see for yourself? And for a long time, I could not answer that question. And it wasn't until going through this whole process and this journey that things started coming to the surface. Oh, well, I want to help people heal. Oh, I want to write a book. I want to speak. I want to coach. I want to do all of these things. And it just started coming to me. Like, it's crazy how easy it came to me. And that doesn't mean it was necessarily easy, because when I started telling people I want to coach, I want to do a podcast, I want to do this, they looked at me like I had something stuck to my teeth, like looking at me like, what? But just like I was absolutely insane. What do you mean you want to teach spirituality? What do you mean you want to coach? What do you mean you want to write a book? Not like they didn't believe in me, but just that it was strange. Like, it was a strange thing to want to do. But again, one of the things that I learned to stop doing was trying to listen to anyone else's influence and just going with what I knew. So I just simply continued on my own journey. And sometimes it would be a matter of not really sharing what I was doing just because I didn't want the negative feedback. And then I discovered that as I was on my journey deeper into it, the more and more I was, the more and more my family and friends would be like, what's going on with you? What are you doing? And it became a curiosity and not a, are you insane? It was less like that and more like, wow, that's really interesting. So whatever journey you're on, or wherever you think you want to be in 2020, and this is just for you, you may have a dream in your heart that if you shared it with others, they may think that you were totally nuts. It does not matter. It doesn't matter what other people think. The universe does not put a dream in our heart for no reason. Usually we're tapping into what our higher purpose is, and it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense to you. When I started my podcast, it didn't make any sense to me either. I didn't know why I was doing it, honestly. I mean, I knew I needed to and I knew I wanted to, but I didn't really know that it would be something that would ever take off or anyone would ever want to listen to. But I knew I had to do it. And the more I did it and the more episodes that came out, the more people who were like, thank you, this helps me. And I realized there is a purpose in it, even when we can't see it ourselves. So I really challenge you to get serious about what you want to see in your life in 2020. And if you don't have a vision board, get those vision boards made, okay? And have fun with it, but really think about, it's not just about, oh, I found this house that has a cool bathroom and I'm going to put it on my vision board. That's not what it's about. It's what do you want in your life in 2020? And yes, I have a vision board that has houses and things like that on it, but I have separate vision boards. I have a vision board for my career. I have one for my personal life, and I have one for things like a home and travel and things like that. I've separated them because personally, I want to be very specific about what I want my career to look like. I want to be very specific about what I want my personal life to look like, what I would want a relationship to look like in my life, what I would want my possessions to be like, that I could live in a home that's somewhere with warm weather. So when I get tired of the winter, I can go there. What are the things that I want to see? And those are the frivolous things, and those are fun to think about. But the important things are like, what do you see as far as your career or your personal life? Because so many people get stuck in life, in these situations that are not fulfilling to them. They're not happy with where they are, and they wake up every day feeling trapped. And that's not what life is supposed to be like. Our lives are supposed to be happy and fulfilling. And if they're not, it's because we're not on the right path. And the universe says that, that's part of the journey, is learning how to get back on the right path. I was talking to a friend of mine just yesterday, and he was telling me about how, he thinks that people who are wealthy, we were talking about how we have a life path that's already charted for us. And when we come here, it's like we forget all about our path. We forget what we're supposed to do. And he said that, he thinks people who are very wealthy and successful must remember more easily or faster than others. And I said, yeah, I think that there is something to that. I think you're on the right track. I think that people who are very successful do remember their path. Because if you ever listen to people like Oprah or Deepak Chopra or any of the spiritual people, influential people, they always talk about mindfulness and about, the law of attraction and all of these different things. And it's not a coincidence. It's because they understand the universe. They understand energy. And most of us, we've forgotten. And it's all about remembering who we are and unlearning all of the things that we've come here and learned, because most of what we're taught when we're younger isn't even correct. We're taught a lot of things to keep us in line. But honestly, people who are well-behaved never make history, right? We're not supposed to come here to be in line and to follow the rules. That's not why we're here. But that's where we somehow get confused. It's like we're confusing dogma with what we've come here for, which is something totally different. We're here to learn about love in all of its forms, and that we are energy and we attract what we put out, in that, it's all about balance, really. There's so many components to this. I could get into this huge, long conversation, but I'm not going to do that right now. My point is, we come here and we forget why we came here. We come here to learn and to grow and to learn all about the many forms of love. And we forget that. We come here and we're told that if we put a toe over the line, we're going to go to hell. And that's not what it's about. And I think that scares so many people, and they get so wrapped up in that storyline, and they are afraid to expand and to think outside the box, because if you mess up even once, like, you're going to go to this place called hell and it's going to be awful. And, I think a lot of the things that we put ourselves through on earth really are more hell than anything else. And we do it with our own thoughts and our own minds. And it's about breaking free from that and letting all of that go. It's about unlearning what we've learned, unlearning the conditions we've been conditioned to learn. And it's about learning what is true and what is right for us. Because I'm a firm believer too that one size does not fit all. Your experience is not the same as anyone else's. So what works for someone else may not work for you. And it's about finding what works for us and what makes us happy and makes us fulfilled. And for a lot of us, that means letting go of things that we've held on to for so long, because we know that it's holding us back. So for 2020, what are you going to let go of? What are you going to release? And what are you going to call in? What do you want to see happening in your life? So maybe just some time to reflect upon your year. What went right for you and what didn't? And how can it be better? I think, as a teacher, that's one thing we always do is we reflect. What went well with the lesson? What could be better? What didn't go well? We're always taught to do that, to be self-reflective. But I don't know why we aren't doing that in our lives. because that is where you truly learn, when you can really sit back and think, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And it's not a judgment thing. It's not oh, I was terrible because I did this. It's not that. It's how could I have made that better? And I think that's really what life is all about, is just getting better. We're just evolving, we're growing, we're learning, we're making things better. And if you are looking for something to make you better, think about taking classes or doing coaching. All of those things are helpful. If you want to work with me, you can just go to my website, melissaoatman.com. There's so many ways you can work with me. You can do coaching, a Reiki session, past life regression. And if you go to my website, you can see what I offer, you can see the pricing, and then when you're ready to book, you can just contact me and we can book a session. If you'd like to work with me but you're not really sure what you would want or need, just contact me. I don't mind talking to you and figuring out what would be best for you. I do that with a lot of clients, and I just want to help you in whatever way will help you the most. So that's my goal and my mission. If you also are sharing my podcast, I have a post on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I'm running a little contest, a freebie, a giveaway for the holidays. If you see my post about Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness and you share it and you like it, I will enter your name for a drawing for a free coaching session. I already have several people who have done this and have their names entered. The more you enter, the more chances you have to win. So if you share it 3 times, I will enter your name 3 times. And of course, that means you have more chances to win. So be looking for that on social media. Also, I wanted to pull a card for you today. And I pulled a card from my deck, Divine Whispers, which you can purchase now on my website. The deck is $22. Once you go on my website and order it, it gets shipped to you. If you're looking for a Christmas present and you want my deck, I would suggest ordering it soon because, we're not that far from Christmas right now, so you want to make sure you get it on time. So the card I pulled for you is Be a Beacon of Light for Others. You have come here with a mission, my dear soul. One part of that mission is to be a light for others in this world that often feels so dark. All too often, we see so much darkness in the world, so it is crucial for us to show others that there is still light. You can be a beacon of light just by showing the world your kindness. You might be asking yourself, what can I do? The answer is that it is the little things that matter most. Hold open a door for someone, smile and say hi, or pay for someone's coffee. There are so many ways that we can show others our light. What will you do to show your light today? And your daily mantra is, today I will show up and shine my light for others. Today I will show kindness toward others. I was born to shine. I give myself permission to shine my divine light. Be the light. Spread the light. All right, guys, I love that. And every little thing that you do really does have a profound effect on this planet. Spreading kindness is one of the easiest and best ways we can raise the vibration of the entire collective of this planet. So continue to do that. Go out there and be a beacon of light for others. They are depending on you. I want to thank you guys so much for being here for me. As always, if you like this podcast, please share it with others. Please subscribe. Please leave reviews for me. That is the best thing you can do because that helps others to find my podcast. And I really appreciate all of you who do that and have done that and continue to do that. I hope that you guys will have a beautiful day. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I go live on Facebook Mondays at 5:30 Central for a free card reading. And I post videos on Instagram. I also do little mini readings there, so don't forget to check that out. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.